The world is changing, and that also includes the UK. And if this weekend's tragic events that have happened all over Europe and now have come into the UK, if this is not really reminding you or giving you that wake-up call, then let this video be that for you. So this weekend in France, this was what was happening all over the southwest of France, all over large parts of rural Sicily, all over Spain, and has now come into Scotland in the Highlands, and people are losing their homes, farmers are losing their crops. People they're losing their cars, everything's been burnt out. Holiday makers who were there going from sort of the middle of France down to the south, completely trapped on motorways. And this is Europe-wise, and it's come into the UK too. Now, I'm just wondering here, because is it really the heat wave or is it something else? Literally only a few weeks ago, the terrorism police in the UK have actually given all UK citizens a warning that apparently we are on a serious alert for a terrorism attack. And this has made me think a little bit further, because normally this time, definitely last year, I was actually in the part of France that is currently burning down. And last Saturday, I was actually meant to be flying to Sicily. I had a health issue, so I wasn't actually able to go. One might say all these things happen for a reason, but what is the reason for all of these things currently happening at once? And what does it mean for you? The first obvious one, don't depend on one income. Can you imagine if you were a farmer? All your income's gone, their homes have gone, their incomes have gone. Can you imagine if you couldn't get to work and all of your income was just around that one job? Can you imagine if your car was completely burnt out and you couldn't get any public transport? How long is your employer going to pay you and all the other people that can no longer get to work because of this serious situation? But meanwhile, these people are still going to have bills to pay. And the UK's very own National Risk Register has added even more risks. Now, while some of you will know about the cyber attack on the NHS in 2025, if you suffer from a health issue and maybe something to do with your kidneys, your livers or something else, you may want to know that the new risk that has been added to this is actually about cyber hackers hacking the digital systems that control our water. Obviously, it's all here, and this is really, really serious. So you imagine an awful event happening like this in the UK, like has happened over in Europe, and obviously now in parts of Scotland right now as I'm recording this. What would you do? And it's really quite mind-shattering to think that these are real possibilities. When you see these things being printed as real risks and made available to the public, it's really very serious. So let's be positive and prepare for potential outcomes. Well, obviously you can get bottled water. If you have older parents or older family members who have health conditions, start buying bottles of water. Because if anybody remembers COVID, the toilet rolls, once these things happen, everything just vastly evaporates. You could also get something like this, which is an outdoor water filter. You know, it's a possibility. I'm going to leave a link down below for this. Maybe have a supply of an essential kit, change of clothing, an old phone with a new SIM card, maybe a lighter, something that you can put in there for food that is not going to go off, blanket, sleeping bag, a pair of old trainers, or even some Wellington boots. Now, that is in the extreme, obviously, scenario. But most people today are living hand to mouth. They are literally living week to week, month to month. If their money went at the end of the month, either they lost their job or something happened, most people wouldn't even have enough money to get through the next 4 weeks in the UK. That is a serious situation to get into. So this is what I would advise you to do. And by the way, I have been in these horrific situations, obviously not a fire, but I have been, obviously I lost my income overnight once and had to build it all back up to, where I am today. Create multiple streams of online income, not just one, multiple. By the way, if you haven't done that, I don't really advise that you try creating 4 or 5 all at once, but definitely have at least 2 streams of online income. And I am going to leave my business bundle, my online business bundle down below, which will help you get started if you don't know really anything about that. Reduce all non-essential debt. Essential spelt wrong there. Reduce all non-essential debt. Things that you just go through your bank statement. All the things that you're paying on subscription every single month that you're not actually really requiring, get rid of. Stop spending endless amounts in supermarkets. This is my personal bugbear when I see people going around with these massive trolleys. I bet their dustbins are as filled. And wait until your fridge is literally empty before you go shopping. Honestly, these things will reduce the amount you're spending every week. Eat everything that's in your cupboard, all your tin supply, all your pulses, all your beans, all your pasta, your spaghetti. Eat everything that's in your freezer, particularly those of you that have got chest freezers. Do all of these things before you go shopping. You will be surprised how much you could literally save in a month by doing these things. Now, I read a book years ago on how to live on £1 a day by literally doing some of these things. Also shopping on the yellow stickers, not eating meat every day because nobody needs to eat meat every day. Your body doesn't need meat every day. But one of the things it does need is water. So make sure, you think of that before anything. Make sure you're getting everything that you're due from the system. You can use a really good website which is called entitled2.co.uk. And even if you're working, it will tell you anything that you're entitled to or reductions that you might be entitled to. And on that note, our new Prime Minister, he says he's going to potentially get rid of council tax. I would be the happiest person on earth if he did that. Let me know in the comments if you think he's really going to do that, or if he's just going to try and, add it on somewhere else instead, which is kind of like a typical, Prime Minister MP thing. And keep all important documents rolled up and literally keep them in a Stanley Cup, because an official Stanley Cup has withheld fires being burnt out, vehicles being burnt out. In the event of a fire or a flood, most things stay very safe in a Stanley Cup. And if you don't know what a Stanley Cup is, all of these things here, these are Stanley Cups. I would hope that you would know what Stanley Cups are now, but if you don't, there we go. And last but not least, have some form of an emergency fund. Have financial assets, be that physical money, be that gold, be it jewellery, be it a car, be it even an old property or like a stone property somewhere. Because honestly, I am quite worried about some of the things that are beginning to surface more and more and more. I really don't think this is propaganda. I think a lot of this has been on the back burner since COVID, perhaps potentially before COVID, and COVID was maybe the first warning. This isn't like a conspiracy theory, it's just what I think. But when you take all of the factors together like we have now, it just pays just to maybe foresee some potential situations and think, okay, I'm not going to get caught out without water. I'm not going to get caught out without having a little bit of money. I'm not going to get caught out with, not having any clothes to wear or put shoes on my feet if I suddenly have to be evacuated from my home in the middle of the night. So I just think these are pretty, obvious things, but things that we just don't really think about anymore because we never think this is going to happen to us. So yeah, what do you think about this, guys? I think this is a serious financial wake-up call for everybody, because when you're in a really drastic situation, sometimes if you don't have any sort of finance apart from the essentials like I've stated, you could be in a really dicey situation. And with the government now telling us to prepare for all sorts of massive national emergencies, from cyber strikes, water drought, to anything else, with what's happened with the fires this weekend, who knows what's possible. In the meantime, guys, stay safe and try and stay as calm as possible. I hope this reaches you all well, and I wish you a great day.